Allah has mentioned in the Quran that that everything in life that we need to be successful, Allah has explained it to us in the Quran. And one of the things that Allah has explained to us clearly is that وَعْبُدُ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينُ. That Allah is commanding the Prophet ﷺ that you should continue to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until the death catches up with you. Because the tendency is that one will be tired and one will say, okay, I don't want to do this thing. But the commandment by Allah is that the Prophet ﷺ should continue to worship Allah until the time has come. Now, how do you worship Allah until the time has come? Now, is what Allah again explained in Quran. The ayah that we all know very well. And that ayah is that فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ. That's two major prominent explanations by the ulama. Now, one of the explanations by the ulama is that when you finish this act that Allah has made compulsory, then the Muslim should start another one. You finish this one, then the Muslim should start another one. So in that way, then one will continue to worship Allah until the death catches up with one. The other explanation that is very common is that وَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ, that when you finish praying, then you should raise up your hand, or you should pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we want this, we want this, we want this. So these are the two prominent explanations. There's many of the ulama out that one because of this ayah, وَعْبُدُ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينُ. Now if you look at Surah Al-Jumu'ah, it's a very common ayah that some of our usually recite that فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةُ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Now when the salat has been finished, the Surah Al-Jumu'ah, then فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ, then you should not just stay in the mosque. To say you have to start another work. Another work now is work with the dunya. So all of them you have to be going together from wajibas to nafilat, from nafilat to what we need in this dunya. So that is what will take us to the discussion, this to Shawwal that has started for the past 3 days. And some have started and some will be starting, and then inshallah I pray Allah makes it easy for all of us. It's a very, very good version and act to do. We use the book of Imam Muslim today, the hadith, clearly stated hadith 1164. The Bab Istihbab Sawm Sittati Ayyam min Shawwal Ittiba'an li Ramadan. That is section that it is beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu that one should fast 6 days in Shawwal. We are here today is the 3rd day, I believe. Shawwal following the Ramadan. Now the hadith is حدثنا يحيى بن أيوب وقتيبة بن سعيد وعلي بن حجر جميعا عن إسماعيل قال ابن أيوب حدثنا إسماعيل بن جعفر أخبرني سعد بن سعيد بن قيس عن عمر بن ثابت الحارث الخطري عن أبي أيوب الأنصاري رضي الله عنه حدثه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قال من صام رمضان ثم أتبعه 6 من شوال كان كالصيام دهر. The hadith, of course, is authentic. The hadith was narrated by Abu Ayyub al-Ansar, the great Sahaba, that the Prophet said that whoever fasts Ramadan, then he followed that Ramadan fasting with another 6 fasting in Shawwal, then it will be written for him as if he has fasted a whole 1 year. Now, the explanation of the hadith, according to many of our alim, they explain the hadith as much as possible, that man sawma Ramadan. So they say man, in usul al-fiqh and al-umum, that everybody, whosoever they fast Ramadan, then, meaning that the first thing ulama is explaining that the first criteria in this hadith, there are 2 criteria for one to achieve this reward. The first criterion is that the person must have fasted Ramadan. Must have fasted Ramadan means that he must have completed fasting Ramadan. I.e., if somebody, like this one applies to our sister majorly, now the sister fasted Ramadan and she could not finish because of her menstrual cycle. Now for her to be rewarded with this, she must finish the Ramadan before she says she wants to start the Sittu Shawwal, for her to be here. will have to be rewarded with this, because what the Prophet mentioned was some are done. So if you fast out of it because of menstruation or because of some sickness, and then you have not completed Ramadan, the ulama say that they will mention that he has soma ba'da Ramadan wa lam yasum Ramadan, that he fasted part of Ramadan, but then he has not completed fasting Ramadan. So for our Muslim sister, the honor is that, because that's the Muslim, that if you want to achieve this reward, then they should complete what they might have missed before they start their asif to Shawwal. And the ulama also they proceeded by saying that thumma atba'ahu, according to, and that's why the words of Prophet, they are pregnant, meaning that they are few words, but it has a lot of meaning. Alimahu man alima wa jahilahu man jahila. He that Allah has helped him understand, he do that. Allah decided, okay, this one will not understand, then first will not understand. Then thumma, the ulama of Luga, they will say what that thumma means. So that thumma means that what the most eloquent person in the they ask the Prophet ﷺ, this, there is no argument. There is no, even among professors of language, there is no argument. So whether you are a Muslim or non-Muslim, or a professor, the most eloquent person that is clear to everybody is the Prophet ﷺ. It is clear from the hadith. So like I mentioned before, sometime. Okay, so thumma, according to ulama, what is of Luga, the summa is mentioned that is adatul atf. Now you feel at-tartib ta'kid. That summa means that then. So what it means is that then means that you have done this, you must have done this first. Then after that, then you now fast the to Shawwal. Atba'u, summa means that you have finished it, then the ta'kid that it closely follows it up. It closely follows it up, and that's why the ulama mentioned the best that one can do is that as soon as Ramadan is finished, as soon as you have done the Eid, then the next day, that is the most beloved, that is the most sunnatic one, then the next day the Muslim should fast, you start listening to Shawwal. That is the best. Not that if you start later, as long as it's Shawwal, there is no reward. But then that is the best. That is what that summa atba'. When they say al-mutaba' atba', the words again usually say that it is divinely chosen by the Prophet ﷺ. And you closely follow it up. And ulama they arrive at this that it's better you fast early, because of some reason they have cited in their books a lot of ayat in the Quran that when it has to do with good things, as much as possible, a Muslim should be pushed to execute that, because you never can tell when the time will be up. And Allah mentioned a lot of ayat in the Quran that show that a Muslim should quickly dispense with good deeds. And the common ayat that we need to talk about is the Fthg al-khairan. Because aynama takunu ya'tikumullahu. That you should quickly dispense with the good deeds. You should quickly do it, because aynama takunu, wherever you are, Allah is going to bring you. Meaning that eventually, whether you like it or not, in the next 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 day, 4 days, 5 days, weeks, then Allah will bring you to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the ulama said, because of this ayah, as much as possible, one should fast exclusively to Ramadan as much as possible. They also mentioned so many other ayat that show that Allah privileges, Allah praise those that usually do a good deed as quick as possible. In fact, the Prophet commanded, there are plenty of ayat we don't need to recite. The Prophet commanded that Badiru bil a'mal salih, that I urge you. In fact, Badiru is like a commandment. The ulama said, of course, it's like an encouragement that as much as possible we're quick to do that act of goodness. And that is why one of the salaf, not just one, many of them would say that in tastati an lam yasbikuka ahadun illa Allah faf'alhu ila Allah. That if it is possible for you that you don't allow anybody to do an act of goodness before you, then do it. That is the best. For instance, you pray, people want to do, and that is the competition between Umar and Abu Bakr. It was very prominent, it was very clear. We call it healthy engagement, healthy competition between the two of them. Until one of them gave up. Of course, Umar eventually gave up. Now, for this one, I don't think I can catch up with him. So it is that anytime I want to do something, I realize that Abu Bakr has already done it. So it is clear, meaning that it is something that is encouraged. And of course, this happens in the time of Prophet. So Prophet did not say, it's not good. So what should Fthg as much as possible one should. And these are some of the reasons the Lama said, as much as possible. We finish Ramadan, then you start quickly with the sit to Shawwal. But the other salient points, so we've mentioned two things. One is to do it, if you want to do it, is to do it as quick as possible. Then the other three is that as much as possible, one should follow them up with one another. Now there are people that will fast today, they will live 2 days, then fast the next day, they will live 2 days. I have good examples at hand. The people that fasted 5, eventually. If you start late, you never can tell. Anything can happen along the way. It's either you fall sick, it's either this thing happen, it's either this thing happen. But perhaps if the person starts early and you aim at making them mutatabi'at, meaning that you making them serial, and that is what the hadith was put from at Bayaru, then you closely follow this talk. That is the tartib, that you follow this talk as much as possible. It is better for that particular person than breaking it up. To break it up, the final goal is that once you finish it. So that is the third, the points. Then the fourth point that is derived from the hadith is this one is like an information, not a warning. Perhaps you may not be aware that in some countries, what they do is that they want to follow the sunnah. Now they usually start on the second day after the Eid. Now by the time they fast 6, that is 7 days. Now the next day, those people they call it Eid, and they call it Eid al-Adha because of this that I just discussed. They will call the 8th day of Shawwal. They will call it Eid, the day that we celebrate. That the Eid al-Adha said is the Eid of those people that are good people. So they want to follow the sunnah. They do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30. So by that the 7th day they finish. So the next day, then they celebrate another Eid. So they call it Eid al-Adha, the Eid of good people, because Prophet says you do good, you should do this thing. But this one is not found in the sunnah of Prophet. We only have to Eid in Islam as the one that he prescribed, the Prophet. Now the other thing that this one should understand is that, now this one will be like the form of I've mentioned it before, just not too detailed, that the encouragement by the ulama, if you want to fast, please fast from the morning. Do not start fasting from the afternoon. We all know that if you fast Ramadan without the niyyah before the Fajr appears, we all know the person does not have fasting. This is clear because the name al-amal bin niyyat. That is from Allah with niyyah, falaysa lahu siyam. It is clear from what you want to fast Ramadan, you don't have niyyah before the Fajr, then the person does not have fast. You have to repay that fast. But for Tatawa, that is nafila, let's say to Shawwal, on Monday, Thursday, it is clearly acceptable practice by the Prophet that you can fast, we can start from the afternoon. The hadith is clear to us, we don't need to cite it. But then you are encouraged as much as possible. If you want to fast it to Shawwal, then you fast 6 days. Do not fast 5.5 days. 5.5 days meaning that you want to start, today you wake up and you did not eat maybe for one reason or the other. And you did not make the niyyah that you want to eat. Now when it is 2 o'clock, you now say, yes, it is close to time to breakfast, I want to start fasting. So the ulama, many of them say that fast is 5.5. It is not said to Shawwal. So one should not punish himself unduly. That because it is very clear, and I give us an example then, the one I didn't see in the book of Sulaiman, but this is a practical example. And I said, if somebody is praying, is fasting, you start fasting from the morning, and when it is 2 p.m., you break the fast. You cannot say the person has fasted completely that day. You say the person has fasted half a day. So Allah will reward him for what he has fasted because he never amal bin niyyah. My niyyah that I want to fast, I start fasting. My niyyah that I want to break the fast, I break the fast by 12. So Allah will reward you for that niyyah. So but then you will not say, and I give an example. Otherwise, because Allah yadli mithqala dharra wa in taku hasanatan yudha'ifha. Allah does not oppress everybody. I give an example. We are this in our book, Sheikh Abdurrazaq, for instance. Example in the mosque, which is something that you can see anywhere in the mosque. We want to pray so that the Imam is reciting, let's say 1 page or 2 pages, and somebody is sitting down. By the time the Imam wants to make a call, somebody quickly jump up. It certainly can never be the same. But that's like you want to cheat, and you cannot cheat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's an example. And clearly from what Prophet has mentioned, the person who is sitting down praying, certainly the reward is not the same as the person who is standing. In fact, the reward is half. So both of them have prayed, both of them have fasted, but then the reward is totally different. So otherwise, this is practical thing. We don't dwell on this. So the encouragement is that if you want to fast into Shawwal, then you should make your niyyah and start from the beginning, from morning, not starting from the afternoon. And I think inshallah we are going to, but I think the trending question, the question that trends for some of us who might have read it, is that, arising from what I've mentioned, and I'm going to make it just a little bit interactive. What if someone is sick in Ramadan? And let's say he's sick for 20 days. And then, alhamdulillah, he's cured, he's healed. And it is now Shawwal. Like he wants to fast to Shawwal. As soon as Ramadan finished, as soon as they did it, they started fasting the Ramadan. Now, okay, 25 days. Sick for 25 days. So by the time it's 26th, 27th day of Shawwal, that was when he finished observing all the Ramadan. Now he now started to Shawwal on the 27th day of Shawwal. Certainly he will not finish. So the trending question is that, is from the Fthg or from the ulumuddin, that you think that person will still fall into this category of the person who has fasted to Shawwal? I'll start from we'll just start with this one.
The person has to finish Ramadan.
Yes, he has finished. He finished on 26th of Shawwal. Then now started the sit to Shawwal. He started on 27th of Shawwal.
So from the principle of that 5.5 days.
Yes.
And the person has 4 days left, or 4 or 5 days. Just pass the 5 days and then I'll just 5, remaining 5, because it's still Shawwal. You can do that actually during the next month. So just pass the 5 days. Allah knows best.
Allah knows best. But again, you have to ask something.
The person will not have fasted 6 of Shawwal, 6 to Shawwal, so will not complete 6 to Shawwal.
No.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I would say that you are a stringent alim. You are a very tough alim. So what some of our ulama, again, they said, Allah knows best, is that if it is not due to fault of his own, if it's something that he does not have control over, then inshallah that they hope that Allah is going to reward him. Certainly from the hadith that we also know. If it's something that you have been doing normally, and then the person becomes sick, then inshallah Allah will reward him for what he used to do. Now you know these 2 examples I gave before, it is something that you have control over. For instance, you are supposed to start your niyyah before you even sleep, if you like before the Fajr, but you just decide, okay, I'm not going to do. Then at the end of the afternoon, you now decide, okay, I want to fast. Then this one is something that is under your control. Somebody is sick, this is what I'm mentioning. Somebody is sick that is beyond your control, that they hope that inshallah Allah is going to do what that particular person. Then again, I think I also cited another example. If somebody you are praying, for instance, and you decide to sit down, so it's something that you have control over, for instance, and you decide not to stand up with the prayer imam, and just decide to start when you want to start the coup, then again Allah looks at the mind of everybody. Nobody can cheat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We cannot decide how Allah reward everybody, but then ulama try their best based on available evidence to say, this is what we think, and we pray Allah accept the ibadah. Now the lesson, the summary of the lesson is as much as possible, one should strive sincerely in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do the best you can do, and those that you cannot do, inshallah, we pray that Allah will take care of it. Wallahu a'lam. Wa alaikum assalam.
The Shawwal is part of the Nawafil.
No.
It's not compulsory.
No, it's not
for somebody to do it, but it's encouraged, highly encouraged.
No.
According to somebody's strength and some other things. Yes. And another thing is the repayment for Ramadan.
No.
It's also not compulsory for someone to repay within Shawwal.
No.
The period for the repayment is over there. At least it is encouraged for someone to repay before the next Ramadan.
No.
For somebody that also have issue of not repaying up to the next Ramadan, of course he has to wait until after the next Ramadan there are some, I think some sanctions once they paying after the Ramadan. So the picture I want to just show now is let somebody not interpret whether if he has a Ramadan to repay, he must repay within Shawwal. He has some liberty of repay even after Shawwal.
Yes, that the message is very, very accurate. In the hadith of our mother, the one of Rasulullah Aisha, the hadith is very clear, but sometimes they will not repay the fasting of Ramadan until the Sha'ban of the next year, before the fourth Ramadan. So it is not a must that one must repay the Shawwal, but it is highly encouraged as much as possible to quickly repay, because it's what? It's compulsory on you to repay. It is a debt of DEBT owed to us, and the debt of Allah that is clearly stated by the hadith. But then how can you must pay? So if eventually the person is supposed to pay and he has ability to pay and he didn't pay, he still should be paid on his behalf if eventually he has. So because of that, it is the right of Allah which is not given. Once you are to pay, then pay it. So if the person has any reason that prevents him from paying, genuinely, this one is Fthg must authority. So if you have the reason, person is 66666, and that is why there are provisions that if you are sick and Allah then if somebody is sick and you are not expecting that person will be healed, will be cured, then there are provisions in the Sharia what to do, because this one is beyond this control. So I think that the best repay it in Shawwal as much as possible. Then you start your sick to Shawwal. If you cannot do it, then you continue to until Allah makes it possible for the person. But certainly, one should not start with sick to Shawwal. It's nafila, because Allah has mentioned, it's part of Allah that mentioned, but not the Prophet. Allah mentioned, He told the Prophet, "Amma taqarraba abdi ilayya min adahi wa aftaratu alayhi." That you cannot be close to Allah subhanahu. You cannot be closer to Allah if you compare the fact and the wafi. It's a fact that Allah wants you to do first before the nafila. That this one is the most beloved, the one that is compulsory before you talk about the nafila. I think inshallah it's not like that. But then the other question is that what if the person decides to fast it to Shawwal before Ramadan? There is a discussion on ulama that without fasting, is it acceptable or it's not acceptable? The one that seems more clear is that inshallah is acceptable. But whenever there are controversies, you say that you are not done Ramadan, you are doing Shawwal. The some ulama say it's not acceptable. That in fact, that one is invalid. So I'm saying that no, it's acceptable. So people are controversy now. Avoid controversy, do yours Ramadan, then now do yours Shawwal. Well, I don't think so. Yes.
I was going to ask a question.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I know I used to have heard before that for women, of course, that missed some fast period of time, they are allowed to first finish that Ramadan before they start their Ramadan, because they have that almost a year interval to get their Ramadan. But just like you say, I just want to confirm, like, is it an invalid fast? It's not valid accepted. Sometimes you hear something at the end of the day, you later find out that was wrong. I wanted to find out whether is it a bad position that they are allowed to fast and start Shawwal before they finish Ramadan.
Yes. Yes, like you said, I think it's something that you just mentioned. That the ulama, they are divided. As usual, everybody has his own evidence. That it is invalid or it's not valid. Allah Shaykh Allah in his book, he explained the details. So he said he knows that there are controversy, well, not controversy, there are divergent opinions about whether that fast is valid or not valid. For you to taqdimu nafila, for you to make nafila before the food, before the fast. So some say it's not valid, and these are big lemma. And some say it's valid according to the order. Inshallah will not destroy your work, inshallah, as long as you have done inshallah and still within the frame of what is accepted by Sharia. So the advice is that not just possible avoid controversy. And just do the Ramadan before that inshallah. If you Allah accept our ibadah, let's continue to strive as much as possible. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.